Good morning. Thank you for joining us. This is today's live on Equa Television International. We are glad that we are all alive and healthy to be here again so that we'll rub mind. Once we're here, we're always here to rub mind. So we want to believe that today is going to be interesting, is going to be um, uh, encouraging, is going to be like we are going to see it we are going to pick it holistically, like all angle. And then the house is really intact. I have Jemima in the house, I have Prudence in the house, but today we have an August visitor. But before I introduce him, before now, like people were just calling, people were just sending messages about the topic of today, and I keep asking myself, I said, why is today's topic like very special that people are just sending messages, even before the show started, and that makes it interesting that today's show is going to be great. Today we are going to be discussing hey, bright price wahala. I don't know why they attach wahala to it. Bright price. But because there are issues to it out there, because some people are feeling bright price is something that is supposed to be high because you are, you should respect the woman. Some people are saying, why should it be high? It should be moderate. Some people are saying when is moderate, there will be no respect to the woman. Some people are saying when it's low, there will be no respect to the woman. Well, let's see. At the end, what is the Bible saying? And well, this is how we are going to start today. So, Jemima, Prudence, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. What?
When you
What?
were laughing about the whole bride price. Anyway, when we get there.
When we get there, you are
When we
loaded.
get
You
to
are
the bridge, you
loaded.
cross
This
it.
today, because the way I was hearing you elaborating out, I believe that you will do same today.
She came equipped.
She what?
Wow.
She came equipped.
What about you?
Amen. Exactly. She's
Let's see
speaking
how
for
it goes.
me.
Let's say I don't understand this your calmness today on this show. I don't understand, Prudence.
It's a scary topic to start with. Right price wahala. I've not.
Okay. I
Does
know.
not matter.
She's
It's
always
not by
she,
like that.
yes.
I'm
She will always prepare a ground. This is how she will come. I'm just neutral. But,
I'm very neutral.
it's very neutral, huh?
Yes.
But thank God,
Mhm.
we have a wonderful a guest today in name of Pastor Noah Magaji, Associate Pastor Equa Good News number 50, number 55. I almost say number 52, because if you don't put that 55, it's like
It's
you are
incomplete.
it's incomplete. You are missing something. You are calling another good news.
It's like there's another one that is 54.
Yeah, it was initially 54.
Okay, I think you can do well to use your mic.
So yeah,
just
you can
throw it
say 54, 55.
down. Okay.
Ahmadu Bello way. And I'm actually the youth pastor.
Okay.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Good
Thank you.
morning.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure having you.
Yes, a pleasure being here also.
Okay. You listened to my introduction. This
Yes,
is the
actually.
topic today that we are going to discuss, and I want to believe you will do justice to it, because as you are sitting there, you are youth, and
Mm.
you know what the youth are saying out there when it comes to issue of getting married, what is stopping some people, and what is making some marriages today a little bit sour because of the process. And then you are a married person, and then you are a pastor. So, what is your take, Bright Price?
All right. I bring you greetings, our viewers, wherever you are. This is very much an interesting topic. Bride price wahala. But to just ask a very rhetorical question, what is the price for a human being?
Mm.
Does any human being has a price? If you were to call a price, what price would you say? How many million in dollars or in euros?
Hmm.
So actually for me, from a very general perspective to begin with, um, this issue of bride price is a serious issue that brings so much concern both to the male child and also to the female child. Um, and I just hope that at the course of our discussions and our interactions, we'll be able to help us understand some nuances as it affects the issue of bride price, and then drawing it up to the conclusions from the scripture. I would be majorly giving my own perspective as I understand things, um, of which I want to believe that our viewers might have differing perspective to myself, which we are open to, and whatever questions, whatever point of argument, I think it's all welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we dive into the discussion proper, because I can see Prudence itching, Jemima, like really boiling. You can do well to just join us on our social media handle so that we'll just do this discussion together. You are free. Just send your questions, your point of view, so that we'll just do this together. Jemima.
Okay. For me, I think bride price should not even be a bone of contention to start with, because if someone is talking about marriage, is talking about settling down, getting someone to marry, it should be the marriage that should be the center. Like, people should want to give you all the necessary encouragement, advices on how the whole thing works. We know that there's no two marriages that are the same, but from experiences, people should be able to guide you so that when you enter into the marriage, you have prior knowledge on things that should happen. But then people tend to tilt more towards bride price, and why it has to come with the wahala is that it is almost always resulting to negativity at the end of the day. People are self-centered a lot, and then they feel like, okay, this is the daughter I trained, I gave birth to, I went through thick and thin for this child, and then when she is to get married, oh, it is my turn to harvest what yes, all of the things I took her to school, I did this. You begin to name countless things altogether, but you shouldn't see it as that. If you see that child as a precious gift that was given to you from God, then there's no point that you should feel like, okay, it is time for you to rest. So only God knows tomorrow, right? So the person she's getting married to, if you feel okay, you need to harvest everything, and the next day that person is no longer there, what happens? What happens to the harvest? Harvest gone wrong, I think we should say, right? So really, bride price is something that people take to the extreme. I would say you don't have to harvest. Like, if you sit down and think of the kind of extortion people do in the name of bride price, it is really, really discouraging. Yes, it's alarming. You see, and aside the bride price, there are other things that they ask you to, and you'll be wondering, okay, am I actually selling this person, or I'm putting her into the care of someone to continue taking care of her from where I stopped? I think if we have that notion, if we have that understanding, this whole bride price thing would really go down at the end of the day.
It's the whole topic. I feel like the topic is set right, perfect phrasing of the topic, because it's really wahala. I've heard a lot of statements, some of which are, you only have daughters, wow, you're a rich man, oh, a very rich man. I've also had something like, my daughter, my investment, that's my investment.
My investment.
And this is the ideology I get from these kind of statements. It's like people are looking at the girl child as I said it earlier, investment.
Mm.
So this girl child, you're giving her whatever you're giving her is because at the end of the day she'll give you back when she comes to marry somebody.
Mm.
The person that is coming to marry her, he'll pay you back.
Mm.
It's like she's property to be bought
Mm.
and sold to the highest bidder. Some people really take it serious that way.
Mm.
It's to the highest bidder. If the person coming is not up to the standards they've pictured for their daughter, he's not going to be able to pay
Mm.
what they are expecting on their daughter, then he should go away. They don't need him. You will see that they will find every reason to stop that marriage from happening. Every reason. A little wonder you hear some people saying, because my parents did not agree and they were making life miserable for the person I'm in love with. What is the harm? Next thing, if I'm pregnant now, they cannot say anything. So let's do it the old fashioned way.
Mm.
And you find that as he's still trying to beat around to find the bride price, she's pregnant. The parents have nothing else to do than to say take her and go. These are certain things that come up because people have taken it selfishly. We have used the ideology, the token that this person is giving you for the appreciation of the gift you're giving to him. You have taken it to be that this person is paying you for the services you rendered to your child. But for me, it gives me this idea instead. It's that you have belittled your daughter and she's no longer of any worth. Because if you're putting a price, I think that's worthless. A human being is priceless. So to put a price on a human being is a problem in my that's the ideology I have. So for any payment, any gifts, anything that is being given at the wedding or for someone to get married to someone, I think it's just a token of appreciation that you allowed me the privilege of having this person as a partner. That's the ideology I get. So when people continuously take bride price to that extreme, that's the way I look at it. But there's also the other side of it. I'm going to do this. I'm taking the other side as well, this other side of the coin, where someone will say, if you don't give something on the girl, she's disrespected. I know I heard this, but apparently he was just joking. So this lady, her father, they brought the bride price. The father removed, I don't know how they had change on top of the money, but he removed like 20 naira from it, and that's the only thing they paid on her. And the husband takes it as a joke and always tells her something like, if you annoy me now, I'll just return the 20 naira that I collected I gave on your head. I mean, I will just collect the 20 naira that I gave on your head and you can go back to your father. In fact, I can even dash you back to your father and things like that. But what people look at, how people look at it is that if you don't pay like a huge sum of money, or like if the person did not go through the struggle, the pressure to get this woman as a wife, he would not treasure her. I'm not sure that is true. Some people have gone through the pressure and they still don't treasure the bride, the wife. It's like, okay, so I paid for you, so you are at my beck and call. Whatever I want you to do, you will do. But for someone who did not even pay, at the end of the day, he might treasure that woman more than that person who paid a lot. So it's not the whole issue of bride price and the compromise. As a compromise, the battle that goes on, the wahala everywhere. I think it all boils down to the mindsets that we have concerning it. It should not be a huge bone of contention. There should not even be that issue in the first place, because this is two people that have agreed they want to live together. I don't see any reason why you should make it hard for them, given certain criterias in the name of bride price. That's
And I
me.
think that is what results to two people just joining their heads together and saying, okay, why not let's just run away? since the bride price is so much you cannot pay, and then we really want to be married, so they just run away, and it is cohabitation at the end of the day. Because once they have gone and they have a child, what else can you do as the parent than to just allow them? So if this thing will continually be on the high side, then you are encouraging that okay, they can just tilt their own way and move on with their lives. And a lot of times, even when you find people that struggle their way into paying that bride price, by the time they get married to your daughter, they maltreat her the way they want. You know, there's always this transfer of aggression. Your parents made me do this, your people made me do this, so now it is my own turn to get my own pound of flesh. So they maltreat you, they enslave you in your own marital home, giving you the blames for things that you did not even do yourself. So it makes people really hard-hardened, and they do terrible things that on a normal day they won't even do. And parents as well, because some of our parents are really self-centered. They can give you into marriage to just anybody, so far that person has the wealth, the richness. You know, they just encourage forced marriages. So far they would at one point or the other be cashing out, I would say.
I think
Yes.
the investment,
You know, they'll be cashing out,
okay.
so they don't care if you will live well in your marital house, if you'll
Or
be
not.
treated well. They don't care about any other thing. All they care about is they have played their own part of the game. It's your own turn to play yours.
Okay.
And that is really discouraging.
Okay. Mr. Pastor Mogaji,
Yes, sir.
I think I'm coming back to you, and you will talk a lot. I just give them this time because I maybe this is the last time they will talk. I'm in church.
Yeah.
See the way she look at me, like I'm in church.
I'm just
Ma-
wondering.
oh, you are just wondering.
I just shout in my microphone.
You just cut in.
And if you
Yeah,
don't answer, I'll
Because
stand up and wave my hand.
I know how much I paid.
True.
So you just shut up. I'm in church.
Oh, oh, the bride price, you mean?
Okay, man of God.
Yes, sir.
Issue of bride price to some. I think this discussion, they are not part of it, because as we speak, everything about their marriage went smooth. They paid their bride price, no matter what the amount, but they just saw the value in whatever they did, and they are living happily. To some pay high. That's the beginning of the problem, and it manifested later.
Yes.
Because it's when the aggression start coming, then that's when you hear the person start telling you, do you know how much I paid? Do you know what I went through? You remember this, you remember, and you'll be like, wow, so 5 years, you never discussed about this, now you're, so all this time that you are pressurizing me, that is it? That's when the woman will even know. To some, they pay very little,
Yeah.
and that bring disrespect to the woman, because automatically, you know, they gave him a notion like they are just happy to just let her go. So pay any amount, please, just take her. Even us were tired.
Yeah.
Some get that notion, and then, you know, the marriage today is not sweet. So generally, let's look at it from the general angle and the biblical angle. Bride price. What is bride price? Is it okay?
All right.
It is okay to pay bride price, because you mentioned some people will just cohabitate, and then
Yeah.
you understand.
Yeah.
So, if it's not okay, where did we get it from?
Thank you very much. Actually, I would want to agree so much with what my sisters have said. To start with, I would want to say that the issue of bride price is a sort of a cultural, traditional construct that, in a sense, gives one an identity. But then the identity comes from that cultural, traditional construction of what it is. And bride price issues have not started with us today. It is an issue that has a lot of historical, um, what would you say, history to it.
Background.
Yeah, historical background. Thank you for that. And since from the ancient Near Eastern, cultures, um, some 3000 BC, even before the coming of Christ, there have been those issues that concerns something like bride price,
Hmm.
to say it. However, for us today, the issue of bride price is a serious trouble for me.
Okay.
Yes, I
Please
I
share with us.
I will not say that it is okay.
Hmm.
In fact, if I have my way, I would particularly advocate that there should be an abolition of what we call bride price.
Hmm.
Just to put more light to this,
Hmm.
is to say that bride price, mostly as you would see it, relates to the man giving something, either money, either materials, whatsoever it is, um, to the family of the bride, in exchange for her being his wife. And there is another word that is mostly intertwined and used exchangeably.
Hmm.
That is dowry.
Hmm.
In our Nigerian context, when you talk about dowry, bride price, is all the man doing to the family of the bride, or to the bride. But looking at it from the dictionary perspective whatsoever, you would understand that dowries are the things that the woman or the bride will do to her husband, or what she would give to her husband. The closest relation word that I would rather use in Hausa is sort of, it's a gara.
Hmm.
Yes, sort of gara like that
Hmm.
is what I can understand closely to mean dowry. And more so, you would see that outplaying in different culture. Even in Europe, they had dowries that the ladies gave to the family of the man. So not just the man to the woman. Yes,
Okay.
and then also you have the bride price as well. So with this, I remember a man saying, in one of the counseling issues that I took, he said to me that na deke kuɗi na ne. Yes, like I don't know how well to put this in house. Yes, it's like I am.
There's no other way.
Yeah, like I am beating my money
Hmm.
because of the anger he had when he was paying the price for his wife, financially, monetarily.
Hmm.
In our cultural context in Africa, going back then, when you talk about bride prices, it's not necessarily monetary,
Money.
cash.
Hmm.
It could be in exchange for some sort of services
Hmm.
that one will render. And some of these issues of bride price happens even before the lady reaches the point of consent. Being able to realize, to be aware that she is a woman and she is matured enough to even marry. It is done in such a way that as young as a girl could be, a friend of the father who has a male child could just come and say, mun kama mata. We've already caught our wife, or we've marked ours here. So just keep her for us while she grows. She becomes our wife. So that happens, and over the time, when she grows, is a sort of arrangement that will be done in the marriage.
And in the process,
Yeah.
you will see the family of the boy
Yes.
like going to help,
Yes.
the
Yes.
family of the
Yes. In fact, in his attempt to do that, you could have
going to their
his
farm.
friends.
Mm.
He would gather his kinsmen to go to the farm, to do the farm, to help them do whatsoever.
So they are
Work.
gradually paying up.
Yes, they are gradually paying up.
And
Yeah.
it's not
So
and it's not a
Sounds
situation
funny.
whereby
yeah,
that time reaches and she says no,
yeah.
because she's aware,
Somehow,
like she was
it's-
taken through the processes,
somehow that is
registering in her mind.
yes. But what I want to say is
Not
that
in all cases.
is
No,
is
asking.
forced on
Okay.
I'm
her,
not saying, I'm asking
Okay.
him.
not necessarily that she has any say to that.
Mm.
From that very cultural perspective, this is something that your parents do,
Mm.
and you just have to accept it. So, again, like we were talking,
Mm.
this issue of bride price, to me, why it is a problem is because I see it mostly as transactional.
Mm.
Yes. So to an extent, the girl child is used as a commodity. She's been objectified, commodified, in the sense that you pay, you mostly pay bride prices.
Mm.
Yes, you pay it, you are called an amount, and then you do pay. So when you reduce the girl child as a commodity, as an object, what value and dignity do you leave her with as a human being? That's the trouble already.
Mm. That's the
Foundationally.
wahala.
Yes, that's the wahala. That's the masala. Is rikichi.
That's the illa.
Yes, that's the illa. That is a serious problem, actually. So, is it possible that a girl could marry someone without any price tag on her? Is it at all possible? I would say yes. I have, like my sister have been saying, and even is it Jamima, right? Jamima and then Prudence. Yes, that I have met people practically who were friends of mine, who are still friends of mine, that have told me, they were outspoken to say that this issue of bride price, we cannot do it, but we can circumvent our way around it.
Hmm.
So, because of the sort of coercion that the male child is being put, particularly to the issue of financial and economic pressure, that you have to meet this standard, this economic bargain for our daughter. They say, well, we can go and get pregnant. And in most instances, I have met with several, I can't even count the number, that eventually they got the girl pregnant, and the parents will just have to say, just go and follow him. And in those cases,
But in anger.
yes, in anger, in those cases, the bride price is not even paid. That relationship that is supposed to be established between these two families is not there. And then, like she have said, mostly with our youth today who are in tertiary institutions, they just cohabit. They stay together until when they feel we've had enough of each other. And that you would see that it raises issues that brings about bankruptcy of our morality. Yes. Instead, the options that we are going for as against bride price is devaluing our sense of morality.
And I agree with you, because you're talking about, what is happening now, the coming together by the virtue of what's the word? Cohabitation.
Yeah.
And then even if they feel like they are cool now and they want to stay together, there's a way the man look at the
Yeah.
lady, even if the family, because in this
Could-
case
Yeah.
you find out that the family are ignorant about that,
Yes.
and then he's
Yes.
there bragging, and then he's like, bring 2 million.
Hmm.
Like, imagine me, the father, you come and I'm telling you my daughter worth more than 5 million, but you can bring 2 million, I
Yeah.
will take it. And he's looking at you like, see this man.
This man.
What is he saying?
I already have
Like,
it.
even 100,000 I cannot pay because I have tapped. Like, if
Yeah.
you can use that word.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, he's beginning to feel they are giving him a price of something that maybe doesn't.
Yeah.
One will relate with what I'm saying.
That's true.
Yeah. So,
Very
just to add to what you said,
Mm.
please continue if you are not done with your point.
Yeah. And I would want to also add that, from a very genuine perspective,
Mm.
we have young boys,
Mm.
young men, and also ladies that sincerely want to marry. Yes, from every genuine perspective of it. He's hustling, he's doing his job, trying to make ends meet. But then
Genuine
it's a
hustling.
struggle. Yes, genuine struggle.
Mm.
But because life is a process and you grow in it, whatever many of the people say, we are not all born with a silver spoon, whatever that means. But I understand that you might get yourself from a very rich family, and for some of us, we grew up not deciding, not making the choice, but na kata kata everywhere. Yes, before you even have those 3 square meals is a challenge. But he's struggling, and to an extent his family is also relying on him. And he really wants to marry this lady, but the price on her head is a problem. What do you want him to do? What do you really want him to do? He will keep on delaying.
Hoping
There are-
and praying.
Yes,
a
hoping and
miracle
praying
will
actually.
happen.
Many
And
ladies
time is going.
who love, yes,
Hmm.
in fact that's the point I'm drawing to. Many ladies who love certain genuine guys in a relationship, because he's not able to do it and she loves him, she just have to wait unnecessarily, indefinitely, and that time is being wasted to the point that she become very
Vulnerable.
matured.
Okay.
And-
Okay. I
Let me
wanted to
just-
say vulnerable to anybody that is ready at that time.
I was going to say that
Mm.
to a certain extent that actually leads to it, because if she thinks that time is going out on her,
Yeah.
she looks for an option.
Yeah.
If somebody else is coming and he's ready and okay, let's just go.
Yeah, and
Since
actually that
the other
option
person
is
is
not
not.
based on something very tangible.
Mm.
It's not based on love.
Mm.
It's just like who is ready. And that is what we have today in our Nigerian society. Many girls. In fact, there is this way that the thing wires our mind, our perspective. That when you meet many girls, to them is the guy that is ready. Yes. It's not the question of even love. It's not even the question of the relationship, getting to know each other. Is who is ready. Some of the ones who can love very well, they can do good relationship, their pocket is dry. It's not up to that standard. And that pushes us. We have a lot of problems with Yahoo today. And particularly the issue that I raised initially, the commoditizing of the girl child, has distorted the sense of dignity and pride even in the girl child, to the extent that even when you just enter a relationship with a lady today, let's go out, take her out on a date, she wants an expensive restaurant, just show her that you can foot her bills. She'll start telling you that I've not made my hair, I've not made my nails.
And my birthday is tomorrow.
My birthday is tomorrow. This
We are
and
meeting
that.
today.
Yes. And there is this sort of
Wow.
materialistic perspective to relationship, to marriage, that is very unhealthy. That there are people who were able to even pay the bride price, but at the course of the marriage, when tough times starts to come,
Mm.
it becomes a difficulty for her to accept it, the reality.
Mm.
Actually, because that materialistic mindset, he must be able to do all these things for me. And when he's not able to, divorce comes.
Mm.
So let me just halt here.
Okay, I have a question
Yes.
for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier on, you mentioned that most times it's because the bride price is high,
Yeah.
that especially the struggling suitors
Yeah.
would not be able to meet up. There are instances, though really rare, that the family of the lady will be considerate
Yeah.
of the person marrying her and would decide to either collect really little or nothing at all.
Mm.
And somewhere in the course of the marriage, the man just maltreat her anyhow
Yeah.
because he feels okay, he didn't pay much, so there was no
Mm.
value
Mm.
attached to her
Mm.
before he acquired her in the
Yes.
first place. So he just gives her any kind of treatment.
Yes.
Though there are instances where
Mm.
the value level
Yeah.
automatically just goes high because of what the lady's parents did. But in most cases, it's like the guy easily forgets
Mm.
what was done for him
Yeah.
initially and he just treats her anyhow. And in other cases, the lady might be so in love with this person and she feels, because I love this person and this is who I want to marry, let me help.
Yes.
And she helps
Mm.
and
Yeah.
he is able to pay. At the end of it, the blame game, the tables change,
Yeah.
and he'll be like, by the way,
After
you were the
paying
one
your
that paid
bride
your
price.
bride price yourself.
Mm.
So what are you telling me? So
Yeah.
there are cases that keeps going up and down, and you wonder at what point should you even want to step in to help? At what point should your parents be willing to bring down their flag a little? Like it's not like we know the end from the beginning.
Yeah.
So how do you handle such
Yeah,
instances?
thank you.
And to add to what
Yeah.
she said,
Yes.
is it okay for the lady to help a guy paying a bride price?
Uh-huh.
A guy she loves.
Yeah.
A guy she
Went
love.
away.
Yeah. All right. I think also that Prudence raised this issue initially. For me, sincerely, I would say that where should I even start?
Just start anywhere.
You know, actually, if you were to ask me, let me start with your last question, then come
Okay.
into yours. Should a lady help the guy she loves? Because of this is the norm of our society, and somehow if you are trying to tread the right path, of which this is quote and unquote what is acceptable, if she have the means, why not?
No, I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, not helping in the preparation of the marriage,
the paying the bride price,
paying the real bride price,
Yes.
like
he sincerely
100,000.
does not have
Yes,
it.
yes.
Like they are
And she
saying
can.
Or she has
100,000,
parts he
No,
needs
no,
complete.
The point is he does not have it.
He does not have.
and then they are saying, okay, 100,000 is the
Mm.
bride price.
Yeah. Okay. Let me come back to our question because
Come back to
Yeah.
my own elaborate.
Yes.
because actually the issue here is of dignity, of value. Yes, because I pay less or because I give little, I did not suffer. There's this aphorism
Nonchalant attitude.
used for pressure for treasure.
Mm.
So where you find pressure, there you would find treasure. So because he's not pressured so much, he will not see the treasure in her. Yeah, but I would say that from the initial perspective, this is something that has affected our society generally. That the perspective of even thinking that you would pay something for someone. This was something that was done to slaves actually. You know, you pay your way to have a slave. But when you see someone with a lot of respect and dignity, it is difficult to think that you can pay your way into him. Yeah, for whatsoever reason. So, saying that this man, because he was asked perhaps to give 100,000, and then the parents eventually collected 10,000 or even 5,000, or with the example that she made, he removed 20 naira. Yes. In fact, just last week, we went to a house that the girl is about to get married to her man, and then an amount was paid, and then the parents, this was practical last week, the parents removed something and said they just needed to collect something, just so that it will be in their culture that they have not taken anything for their daughter. But when you talk about the fact that he dehumanizes her, he treats her without dignity, because the value for her monetarily was low, I feel that the man has a problem.
Right from onset.
Yes, he has a problem actually of understanding the dignity of who she is. And that is why I feel that the conversation that we are making now must have its roots in the Bible. Yes, because just looking at things from a very general perspective or from a secular perspective doesn't emphasize the dignity that is in men. We were created in the image and likeness of God, both male and female. And even when we become Christians, is the priesthood of all believers. Both, all of us, as according to John, have the right to be called children of God, sons and daughters of God. Who is more valuable than another? Yes, even though I would not want to stretch this to the extreme of which we have the very liberal and secular perspective of gender equality, whatsoever it is that goes against the teachings of the scripture. But I feel so much that if one is able to understand the dignity in his fellow human being,
Treat the person with respect.
then you treat the person with respect, regardless. Even if we have to, for the sake of let my people go, the norms and culture of our society, you do it. It doesn't warrant you to treat your partner, and especially your wife, of which the Bible says the two become one. Yes. The way you treat her is just like you're treating yourself. So I don't know if I've attempted to respond to this question. Actually.
Yes, then the other part that has to do with she helping him pay the bride price
Yeah.
and backfiring later on.
For me, I would advocate that just remove this issue of bride price. Just
Because the
let's
reason-
find other ways of seeing value and dignity in one another, aside from this commoditizing of people.
Reason why quickly, sorry.
Yes, go
The
on.
reason why we ask this question, because some ladies are going through a lot.
And you find
Because
them doing this.
yes, and then you find out she loves the guy and he is willing, he wants to pay, but he doesn't have the money, and she
Yes.
knows he doesn't have the money,
Yes.
and this time around she wants to help, but the culture is telling her something different, that you are not supposed to in
help.
any way help your man in paying your
And
bride
she
price,
doesn't want to
because
let go.
from that level they will begin to insert something in her brain
Yeah.
that once you do that, your man will not value
You
you,
will not value you.
and then she stick
Yes.
with that in case, like in the future, anything happens, she'll begin to feel like it's because
I helped him.
I help him, that is the reason why that thing is happening. And you'll find out maybe there's a problem, but they are not treating the problem where they are supposed to treat
Yes,
it
from the cause.
from the cause, but they will be treating something different, and you will know when you are having catarrh, but you are treating malaria.
Yeah.
Definitely the catarrh will not go, and that would lead to like a divorce at the end.
Yeah.
So Anyway,
Yes, let me come there.
Okay,
Yeah.
before you answer,
Yeah.
something very close to what he
Okay.
said. He is so pressed, the man.
Yeah.
He doesn't have, and he so wants to pay. So he goes to get a loan because he doesn't want her to help. So he pays.
yeah, because of that,
Yes,
he
because
feels okay. Yes, if I do this,
there's
she will
really a
render
lot
me.
going on.
Yes.
So he prefers to get a loan to pay off, and eventually, if he cannot pay off what he
Payback.
collected after the payback, sorry,
Yes.
what he collected later on, he would also be indulging her to be part of paying it.
Yes,
You say, by the
absolutely.
way, I got this loan to pay your bride price, so why are you not helping me to pay it?
Mm. Yeah, I think another aspect to this conversation is on the fact that when we talk about bride price, is emphasizing responsibility on the side of the man. So, an irresponsible man is not supposed to even start thinking of marriage. So you must be a person who have grown to a certain level that you are able to take care of your own needs before thinking of taking care of another. Sometimes we find very lazy people today wanting to marry.
I can hear Gaskia from background.
Yes. should we advocate for those kind of very irresponsible people? You know, marriage is not just for the fun. It's not just for those enjoyment. It's a journey. It's an institution. It's a responsibility. As someone will say, Silas,
It's
he
a
will say
mission
it's a
field.
call. You understand?
Mm.
It's a call. So, but you would see that so many people, a boy who is not yet, he has not even understood what it means to buy clothes for himself. He's asking for urgent 1K.
And
And-
for data.
Yes, for data, and then he's in a relationship with a girl, and then he's thinking of marriage at that time. What is actually the thing that is pulling him to get married? You would find out that today most people,
Maybe pressure.
uh,
The
well,
parent want
yes,
grandchildren.
the pressure is there. Yes, from parents they would say, I'm growing old. I need grandchildren.
And
Those
in some
things are there.
cases, sir,
Yeah.
let him get married. Maybe he will be responsible.
Yes, actually,
She will help him.
yes, he would be happy. He would. You know,
And some might even tell you marriage comes with blessing. So if I don't
Yeah.
have it now, when I get married, I would
yeah,
have
actually,
it.
marriage comes with blessing.
But when you are
Emphatically.
if you are
Mm.
hardworking,
Marriage comes with blessing. But you would find out that this crop of young people, many of them is just because of the sexual stimulations and pressure that they want to get married. Of which, even in the church, marriage is ordained so that it will,
Take care of that.
keep that in check.
Mm.
That we will not just go wild, be promiscuous like that. But then it is important to know that marriage is beyond that sexual relationship, that intimacy between a man and a woman. So, talking about the lady helping the man, what kind of man are you even giving yourself into? Yes, love is important too.
Mm.
But what we often call love is just some sort of emotionalism.
Mm.
Yes.
Say that again, man. of
Yes. Sincerely, what we do call love, for me, is just some emotional affection that, in the long run, when that affection is missing, and
God. When
we-
reality set. in.
yes, when a reality set in, I usually say when I preach on marriage, when you are confronted with www.reality.com,
Mm.
you don't need a smartphone to access that site. You don't need.
internet free.
It's internet free. In fact, it's device free.
Exactly.
Yes, you are the device yourself. So you access that in marriage,
Mm.
and then you just see that we come to the grips of reality, and the marriage could not stand because the very things at the beginning that brought us to this point of making decisions were not tangible.
Mm.
Yes. So a guy wants to marry. Who is he?
Mm.
Does
You are
he
giving
even
yourself-
understand his identity?
Mm.
In fact, as according to Genesis chapter 2, the Bible said it is not good for a man
Mm.
to be alone. Right?
Mm.
But the emphasis is a man. It not say it's not good for a boy.
Mm.
Who is a
Ah,
man?
who is a man? That's the question.
Have you attained that human maturity
Mm.
to be called a man? Even those who perhaps are from a very well-to-do families, that their parents are able to foot the bills for the bride price for them.
Mm.
Many of them, you realize that they are not yet men.
Mm.
They are not emotionally mature. They are not spiritually mature. They are not psychologically mature. They are not financially or economically mature. And then we enter into marriage. Many a times we are attracted by the physical, beauty,
Mm.
which is one of those things actually.
Mm. Mm.
But
But not the main thing.
it's not the main thing.
Mm.
That fades away. Whether you like it or not, it fades away. That's why many women in their prime, because of that idea of objectifying and commoditizing women, they feel that because now my shape is intact, I have beautiful face, I will try and get the best man. In fact, it is not just for parents. Parents try to make that long-term investment through their children
Mm.
by looking for the best economic stable suitor.
Mm.
But even women, the girls themselves, they are also thinking about the investment. Say, Kai, if I go for this guy, he looks okay now, but is he a long time economic investment for me that will provide me that security I need in marriage? So many a times we even go into the marriage instead of in faith. As a Christian, we go in fear and with some sort of other things.
Well, I think I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot. I can see from different angle that I didn't even thought of, and I see those angle coming up, and then we're really putting emphasis on that. And I want to trust God that somebody is watching out there, and you have just taken your note. Please just keep sending us your comment, share, and then let's hear your view. I don't know if we have okay, all right, but just keep sending them. Just keep sending them. Man of God.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have anything to ask him quickly that as a follow up to respond?
I did, but it skipped my mind.
Okay.
However, I am actually of the opinion that the whole issue of bride price should have been a token of appreciation for the value that you're getting. So that's my opinion. So this is a person that has value, some certain value that you have seen, and you want to have that as a companion, as a partner. So you're giving up that token in appreciation for these parents raising this woman to be the person she is. And I think that we in our own community, we really need to revisit the whole issue of objectifying women to this whole bride price thing, and it being like a huge bone of contention between marriages. I think I've heard a number of marriages that could not take place because the parents could not come to a compromise with the groom. Said, okay, since you cannot pay, go your way, my child cannot marry you, and things like that. And at the end of the day, this is you're breaking apart two people that would have made a very good home just because of your selfish inclinations. And I really think that we really need to deeply think about that. A lot of the things you said really arrested a lot of issues concerning bride pricing and even raising up children. Because if you raise the boy child to appreciate human beings, then he would not objectify his wife to be. Same thing as
Girl.
the girl child. If you raise her with the understanding that she is of value and not just somebody that someone would come and pay for, or someone would come and foot her bills, then she would have a better, she'll carry herself better, and she'll not be tossed to and fro. So really deep talk, and I really appreciate where you're coming from with the discussions we've had. I think my dad will love you because he has the same the same
Okay,
ideology.
Jemima, so that he will talk and then
Okay,
we'll,
I like to say that for the parents, if you change your mindset towards the girl child being an investment, being a property, being whatever it is you think of, if you would change that mindset to seeing that child as a gift given to you, you are her custodian. A custodian does not think of any reward that he would get. If there's any reward you would get, it is well done, my good and faithful servant, at the end of the day. So if you begin to see her as your custodian, if you begin to see yourself
Self
as
as
her
a
custodian, and then you do all that you do, at the end of the day, you have played your own part and played it to the fullest. You would not think of any investment. You would not think. God chooses to bless whom he wants, and he blesses you based on what you have done. So you should not think that another human being should be the one to bless you. We should really change our mindset towards that and be more intentional about them.
Okay. So, man of God, we're giving you this time briefly to just cap it up and then take a position of the church. What do you think we should do so that we
Thank
get
you very
things
much.
right?
And I would say that biblically, one of the longest chapter in Genesis is Genesis chapter 24, and there it talks about how Isaac married Rebecca. So therein you see Eliezer of Damascus, right? The chief servant of Abraham, going to the house of Bethuel, the father to is it Rachel? No, Rebecca. Pardon me, please, Rebecca. And there, you notice that even at that he gave something. It was not that the parents of Rebecca asked him. They did not make request. Rather, when Laban, her brother, said, "You can go with him," then Eliezer of Damascus, removed so many valuable gifts, gold, whatsoever they are, and then gave it to them. And prior to that, when he met her in the well, he gave her some things valuable, a gold nose ring, whatsoever it is. And when you go down to Genesis chapter 29, where you find the story of Jacob marrying, actually working for the marriage of Rachel, and then he was given Leah. You would see that it was not as though Laban, now his uncle again, it was not as though Laban requested that, "What will you do for me to give you my wife?" No. When Jacob came, he actually was working for Laban, and then Laban said, "Yes, despite the fact that you are my cousin, you are my relation, when you work, I need to pay you. How much should I pay you? What is the wages?" And then he said, "Let me work for 7 years, and then you give me your daughter." So she's just like the wages. And then afterward, he was deceived and then given Leah, and then he had to work for another 7 years more, making 14. But let me just make something very, very critical here. Pardon me to just read
It's okay.
a place. In Exodus chapter 22, verse 16 and 17. It says, if a man seduces a virgin who is not pledged to be married and sleeps with her, he must pay the bride price, and she shall be his wife. If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he must still pay the bride price for virgins. So, and then when you also see in Deuteronomy chapter 22 from verse 28 to 29, is also speaking of a similar thing, namely that bride prices predominantly in the scripture was for virgins. When our parents today are asking for bride prices, are our girls virgins?
Wow.
So, because this is a cultural construct, as I've earlier on said, that this issue of bride price, even the biblical narrative that we have this, it was from a cultural setting. So, many of us in Africa just accept traditions and cultures without question. And I feel that it is high time that we question some of these traditions and or cultures, so that we would be able to get it right. I would want to end with this very quote from Helmut Richard Nabel, and then a verse in Romans. He says, culture, while valuable and necessary, is always incomplete and imperfect until it is brought into relation with Christ, who gives it its true significance and direction. And Romans chapter 12 verse 10 says, be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Marriage should be out of mutual consent, out of that affection that comes from knowing that you have dignity and value for your person.
Pastor Noah Magaji, thank you so much for availing your time to do
Thank
this
you.
program
Thank you,
with
sir.
us.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot personally. Jamima, thank you. Prudence, thank you. And
Thank
for our
you.
viewer, we sincerely appreciate you. Thank you. Let's do this again tomorrow. Same time, same station. Bye-bye and God bless you.